Next on the agenda, item 1.11, briefing and request for approval, Western County Family Medical Center.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. I brought this forward because of a great need that we have in western part of the county, and particularly in the Nanjemoy area. And if you'll all indulge me a little bit to give you a little bit of the background and why I felt that this was the time to bring this up. It wasn't long after I got into office that I met with Dr. Abney, who, as you know, is our health officer. And one of the main concerns that she had was that our health clinic in Nanjemoy, her concern was that we'd be able to sustain that and grow that. It has always been her goal and her mission to be able to do that. As many of you know, when we first started this, we used an organization to run that clinic. They were not able to stay there. They have since located. And truly, to Dr. Abney's credit, she stepped in, saw that there was a need, and had really made a commitment to our county and to those residents that she was going to provide some primary medical care to that community. And she has done that, even as far as going there on her own and providing professional services. We've had Dr. Haft, who was very much connected in the county, had a close association with the health partners, but he too, as a physician here in the area, would give his own time to go down there to that clinic and make sure that those residents were served. As you know, Dr. Haft is now Deputy Secretary for Public Health Services, and so I've had conversations with him about this particular clinic. We've had some successes down there. They did get into an arrangement, the health department, with our health partners in Waldorf to have a nurse practitioner down there for a while. That helped, but it didn't meet all of the needs. And for some time now, Dr. Abney has been able to contract with a physician to be in this health center, but it's just one day a week. He is there every Tuesday. And while that's provided invaluable service to our clients, it's certainly not enough. Why I've brought this to your attention now is because as of December 20th, he will be leaving. And if we don't come up with a solution, there will be no one down there providing services for our residents. So we got to work and started to look at what can we do to come up with a partnership and a solution to provide medical care for our residents in the western part of the county, but particularly Nanjemoy, that is obviously professional, but particularly sustainable. We know that when you have a relationship with your medical professional, once they leave, it's very difficult to reestablish relationship with new ones, and we lose patients. We want to avoid that. So we started looking around and decided to see who else may be able to partner. And we've started having conversations with Health Partners. As you know, Health Partners is a nonprofit that operates in Waldorf. They've been there for years. They provide an amazing service to our citizens in Charles County. It is for people who are unemployed, underemployed, or just about anybody that needs medical services. And so working together with the health department and with the health partners, we've come up with what we believe is an arrangement and what I hope I will get the support of the county commissioners on, and that is to establish a clinic down there that would have health partners actually managing that clinic with the help of the health department, of course. The health partners would be responsible providing primary care out of that facility. The health department will continue to provide the services that they have done all along. And I know that in talking with both Dr. Abney and with Chrissy Mulcahy and the chairman of the board of Health Partners and with Dr. Haft, there is a great appreciation not only for what the health department has done, but also looking forward to continuing that relationship so that the health department will provide those public health services that are so greatly needed. And I'm not telling them what to do with their work, but it's stuff that I could imagine, things like holding flu clinics there, prostate screening work programs there, and so forth. So it is a prime example of public-private partnerships where we have organizations within the county that have come together, have seen a need for our citizens, and have stepped forward and decided to work together. In fact, so much so that health partners and the health department have already worked together that they are now going to be shadowing the doctor that is there for the next 2 weeks that he's there, so that when he will be on the 20th, on the 27th, there will be a nurse practitioner in there who has already met some of the patients and will continue services there. So there's a tremendous commitment to making this clinic sustainable and to keep it working. And I'm very pleased to have had an opportunity to work with these entities to be able to come up with a plan. The other thing that from government standpoint that is always on our mind and something that we're always very keen and aware of is how do we fund things. Every time someone comes up with an idea of a new program, we know that it costs money. I'm very proud of the way that this county manages its finances. You'll hear me say it often. I'm very proud of our bond rating. We get those things because we're very, very careful about how we spend the money. So I'm pleased to be able to present to you a way that we can support this partnership between the health department, the health partners, which is a nonprofit organization, and to be able to fund this in a way that makes it sustainable and provides for our citizens in Nanjemoy a reliable medical, if you will, as it's been described, a medical home, a place where we have primary care as well as all sorts of other programs that certainly the health department could do that. And the way that I'm proposing that we do this, and I think it's a compromise that suits our community well, is that we look at what we have before us as our Vision 2020 program. We know now the way that it stands is that we are already funded. Vision 2020 program is funded through June 30th of 2017. We have been supporting the part-time person. But because we have not filled that social work position, we have been, in a sense, saving money. So what I'm proposing is that we would take the money that we have saved from the time that that position became vacant through December, and following on what you had said last time, Commissioner Davis, about perhaps a contract social worker, is we would use that money to provide us a contract social worker for up to 8 hours a week, from January through June of 2017, so that those individuals that are in the program now will continue to be served, and in fact will continue to be served by not only obviously the administrative person, who I, by the way, understand has done a wonderful job, and hope that you would express our gratitude to that person for keeping the program running and keeping in touch with the clients. Thank you. But also to add the social worker component to that, to keep that program afloat. The remaining money, the it's about $51,600 that would come from what would have been the rest of the salary of that social worker, would be given to health partners. And what health partners is willing to do, and this is what I mean about the kind of community that we live in, the people that care, the organizations that care about our constituents, they are willing to put into the health clinic in Nanjemoy a nurse practitioner, a medical assistant, and an administrative person for up to 24 hours a week, beginning in January through the end of June. And so we're going from 1 day a week to now up to 24 hours a week. And you're getting, and they're willing to do that. The health department, of course, is willing to continue to bring in their programs. And then come July 1, when we're doing FY18 budget, prior to that, I would hope the county commissioner and we could sit down and talk about how do we continue to fund or to provide the finances that are necessary. So that's our part to play. And it hasn't cost our taxpayers any more money. We're using money that is already there. We're just moving it into another program, which I personally believe in. While I don't take anything away from Vision 2020 in terms of the help that it's given, there's no question that the intention of that program was very admirable. It certainly has served some people in the community, but it was set up as a pilot program. This, to me, looks like a better way to use what money we have to serve many more people in our community about something that's incredibly important, which is the medical aspect of things, but also to have something that's sustainable so that our residents in that area have a very vibrant and consistent medical facility. By the way, the other real bonus to this relationship is by partnering, if you will, with health partners, this team that will be in Nanjemoy is the same team that will be working part-time out of their Waldorf office. So on a day that it's closed in Nanjemoy, because it's certainly not going to start out at full-time, we have to build up. But on the day that it's closed in Nanjemoy, if an individual down there still needs to see their health professional, they will be able to go to Waldorf and be seen. So actually they can be seen 5 days a week if they have ways to get there and to take care of their health. So with the electronic medical records, we're able to do that, and with the commitment from both health partners and the health department, we're able to do that. So what I'm proposing today is basically what I mentioned. I would like for us, if the commissioners see that this is a worthy cause, is that we would do a resolution today basically stating all of these things, the things that I mentioned, and I will do them very briefly. Then I would ask the clerk to actually read that resolution. If it's moved, if it's seconded, we'd have a discussion, and then I would like to see if it could be moved forward. But basically, here's what it is in summary. Number one is that we have decided as a group, if this were to pass, is to redirect the funding from Vision 2020, which would provide additional resources to this medical center. We're calling it a medical center right now. That Health Partners would be the independent group that would manage the clinic, if you will. That the current vacancy that exists for the social worker will not be filled, that it will continue funding Vision 2020, which will sustain the part-time individual and do a contract social worker for up to 8 hours a week, and that would go through June 30th. But the funding will not be provided for Vision 2020 in the year 2018. That Health Partners would receive would be $8,600 a month from January 1 through the end of June, which is the remaining amount of the money that's set aside for the salary. So that's not new money. That does not commit anything beyond this fiscal year. We would have to determine that, and that this resolution would direct the staff to implement these basic things in the resolution. So that's what I present to you today. I look for your support on this. I think it is an amazing opportunity to be able to see and to demonstrate how, when people come together, when the community sees, as Dr. Abney saw with her vision, that there was something that we needed to do here, and she saw that need, is that we're now coming together and fulfilling it. And when in talking to her, one of the visuals that we used was it's much like a relay race, and that people, as they're passing on the baton, and she is passing on this baton to say that even though she's been able to sustain it, she understands how important it is, as do we all, to be able to get something that is going to work in the long run. So I think this sets a really good standard for everyone to see, with limited resources, how do we come together, be creative, to be able to satisfy the needs of our constituents. And nothing makes me happier than to think that we're going to be able to support this clinic, and that we may be able to, with your support, my colleagues, with the support of my colleagues, to support this clinic and to be able to provide this service for our citizens in Nanjemoy. So with that, Madam Clerk, if you would just read the resolution as a motion, and then if there's someone that would move it and second it, then we can have a discussion about this. Please.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve resolution newly numbered 2016-30, reads as following: a resolution concerning Vision 2020 and Western County Family Medical Center for the purpose of ensuring continued funding of the Vision 2020 program through the remainder of fiscal year 2017 and utilizing savings from Vision 2020 for funding assistance directed to the Western County Family Medical Center located within the Nanjemoy Community Center. Whereas the County Commissioners of Charles County the County Commissioners recently received 2 briefings regarding Vision 2020 program currently administered by the Department of Community Services. Whereas the County Commissioners have decided to redirect funding from Vision 2020 to assist in providing additional services to the medical center. And whereas Health Partners Incorporated is an independent nonprofit organization serving Charles County and the surrounding area. Whereas Health Partners is willing to continue to provide medical services to county residents that utilize the medical center. Whereas specifically Health Partners will provide the following medical staffing model at the medical center: 1 nurse practitioner, 1 medical assistant, 1 administrative assistant, not to exceed 24 hours per week and subject to patient demand. Whereas funding from the County Commissioners will assist Health Partners provide medical services at the medical center. It says to provide. Now therefore be it resolved by the County Commissioners of Charles County, Maryland: 1, the current vacancy that exists for the social worker within Vision 2020 will not be filled. 2, the county will continue to provide funding for Vision 2020 that will sustain the current part-time administrative assistant, a contract social worker who will work no more than 8 hours per week, and services to current clients of the Vision 2020 program through June 30th, 2017. 3, funding will not be provided to Vision 2020 in fiscal year 2018. 4, the county will provide funding to Health Partners not to exceed $8,600 per month from January 2017 through June 2017 to assist Health Partners in providing the staffing model detailed above in this resolution. 5, future funding for Health Partners will be determined during fiscal budget sessions. And 6, county staff is directed to take necessary action to implement the directives in this resolution. Be it finally resolved that the resolution shall take effect on the 6th day of December 2016 and signed by the Charles County Commissioners.
Okay. So that's the motion. Is there anyone that would move the motion?
So moved.
The motion has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion?
I have a bunch of questions.
Yes, of course.
If this moves forward, it sounds like this will expand the amount of time that the clinic will be open in Nanjemoy itself.
Right. Presently, it's 1 day. This would be up to 24 hours or 3 days.
Okay. And plus, as you mentioned, because Health Partners would be coordinating this, that their facility in Waldorf would be available for the same residents in Nanjemoy if they were in need of medical care. So it would be seamless?
Yes. Well, it will be seamless, but you make a point. Health Partners is available to individuals now from anywhere. But what will make this different is that those individuals that are seeing the health professional in Nanjemoy, if it's closed, they'll be able to see the same one in Waldorf. So there'll be continuity of care between the 2 facilities.
And then, and maybe this is an easy answer because of the existence of Health Partners, and that is, what is the cost for residents who use the service? Is there a cost? Does it depend on their socioeconomic situation, insurance, etc.?
It varies. I know that Health Partners today, and this is what makes this, the other thing too that makes it sustainable is that they can take Medicaid, they can take Medicare, they're in the process of getting private insurance now. In terms of what people pay, I volunteer their many, many years ago, did the financials, so it depended on their income. And why this is so important is that we have a number of people that in this county that work sometimes 3 jobs, maybe part-time jobs, but they have no health care. And so they may have a little extra money, and so they're able to pay part of their appointments and so forth, but not what they would have to do if they went to a private.
So it's subsidized, in other words.
It helps. Yes, it does.
And in terms of the history of this medical clinic, it's gone through various incarnations with various people operating it. This seems to be the most viable in terms of sustainability moving forward, also in terms of the expansion of hours. So it sounds terrific, and I'm glad to see that the coordination was placed with both the Department of Health and Health Partners, who has been providing this service, as you mentioned, in Waldorf for a very long time. It sounds great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, they've done a great job, and I know they're delighted to see that this may be able to go forward. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah, Commissioner Davis?
Yes, thank you. The work that Christy Mulcahy does at Health Partners and Dr. Abney at the Health Department is tremendous. As a matter of fact, Christy Mulcahy sits on the Vision 2020 board. Frankly, I'm not surprised by the dissolution of Vision 2020. I knew the gig was up the minute the president put it on the agenda. I think it's funny that we sat here. Well, I want to apologize to Eileen Minnick for having to put on 2 presentations. I told her when it was coming on the first time that the gig was up, that Vision 2020 was going to be dissolved. But it's funny how last time this Vision 2020 was before the citizens, there was all this questions about how much it was going to cost and what's the relationship between the people that we're serving and how much money we're spending. And none of those questions are being asked today. And I want people to know that all of this is done with no discussion, no inclusion of me who has spearheaded the Vision 2020 program, and that this whole Western Charles County Family Medical Center is in Western Charles County in my district. But so, it's not only transparent, it's so backdoor that it makes me angry, but I'm being very calm. I have never been added to the discussion. The fact that the resolution is already drafted and in board docs, that we've already had a dissolution of Vision 2020 when we just had the final presentation about 20 minutes ago is just remarkable to me. It also concerns me, number 3 in the proposed resolution, that we're already discussing the 2018 budget, that fiscal year 2018, we're not going to fund Vision 2020. I mean, that's a little far-reaching. What else? I've got all kind of notes here. I would appreciate some heads up. I would, there's no transparency at all. No discussions, no nothing. This is just, anyway. The 8 hours toward, thank you for the 8 hours for the people who are in the middle of the program right now, who are used to having more than 8 hours. I guess that might help. I'm not going to argue against that. But I do know that clinic has had lots of problems, and I'm not so sure it has the number of people to sustain it or to make it worthwhile to sustain it. And I see Millie Hammond here, who also sits on our board. One big thing that, if you had had a discussion, is that we came up with was that it wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just health. It wasn't just housing. That the people in Western Charles County and in some of our most needy areas of the county, they need so much else. So, and if we'd had the discussion, we probably could have talked about those other needs that they have. So this, as awesome as a program as you have presented, I mean, it has, there are questions to be asked, but it does not in no way replace the needs or even begin to meet the other needs of the residents in that part of the county. That's all I have. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a couple of comments. One is you're absolutely right. There are tremendous needs, not only in the western part of the county, but certainly throughout our county. And in fact, I think early on there was a comment made that Vision 2020, as an example, was being paid for by out of taxpayer money, and that it was not to be exclusive for Western County. It could be open to anybody throughout the county, and I think that's...
And it is.
And I understand that, and so I think that's important to note. So we have tremendous needs throughout the county. There's no question about that. One of the reasons that we asked Ms. Monique to come back for a second time is because there were commissioners that had questions, and I felt it was important to give those questions an opportunity to be addressed, which she did today thoroughly, and I appreciate that. As far as being in any particular person's district, I really do believe that this is not about any one person. I do believe that what this demonstrates is a goal that every good elected official and every leader should possess, which is the capacity to look beyond self and to look and to embrace and to encompass the greater good. And I believe that's what this has done. This is about organizations coming together. This isn't about one district. This isn't about one individual. This is a number of individuals. This, to me, is good government. It's when it pulls people together, it looks beyond self, and it encompasses the greater good. And I believe when you look at all the people who have come together to do this, it's something that we can be proud of. And does it satisfy all the needs in our county? Absolutely not. But we have the resources to address a very important one, which is the individual's health. And so this presents that opportunity to do that. So unless there are any other questions? Yes, Commissioner Rucci.
I'm not excited about dissolving the Vision 2020 or cutting it back, but I'm not going to vote against the health for the western side of the county. I mean, I'd like to see if we could keep them both going, but it is what it is. But because they were both important.
There's no question about that.
And health is, well, Vision 20 has a lot to do with that too. You know?
Yes, there's no question about that, but it's a matter of what resources we have, and where do we put those resources, and so that was part of the decision on that too. It's not a question about good or bad, better or worse. It's we have limited resources. How do we serve the most people with the money that we have, and without increasing the finances burden? Okay. Yes, Commissioner Davis.
Are we going to get the numbers? Are we going to get the numbers from what's happening over at the health center? And,
yes.
And what we expect and how much it's going to cost per person? The same questions they asked about Vision 2020?
It's my understanding that health partners would have to give us an accounting. And actually, that's what makes this a very good program, too. It's very easy through a clinic to have measurable outcomes. When you know the number of patients that come in. We also know that Dr. Abney is going to continue her navigator down there. That'll be a person that will be able to direct people to additional services and so forth. That was one of the shortcomings, I believe, in Vision 2020, is it was not easy to measure the successes of Vision 2020. You may be able to refer people to services, but doesn't necessarily mean they follow through. So yes, they'll be giving us reports, obviously, because they're medical. They can't go into a lot of detail, but we should have an idea of number of people that they serve, and to see whether and how successful that is. And I look at it, regardless of what they give us, is an opportunity, if it's falling short by whatever our expectations are, is what do we do to make sure it's successful. So I'm going to be looking at those numbers in terms of what can we do if there's anything further to help them be successful down there, because this is really all about providing this service in our community. So, okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay, Madam Clerk, if you would, I think it's been seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Stewart, District 3.
Yes.
Commissioner Davis, District 2.
Opposed.
Commissioner Robinson, District 1.
Yes.
Commissioner Rucci, District 4.
Aye.
Commissioner President Murphy?
Yes.
The motion passes 4 votes to 1.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support.
Next on the agenda is closed.